Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking about a test that I recently did. So it's Gary Brecka's DNA methylation test. You may or may not have heard of it, I'll explain it in a minute. And the results really shocked me and surprised me, but potentially for the good. And I think that it's going to be really beneficial for my journey overcoming MS. And I think it might be useful for you too. So make sure you stay in tune for the rest of the video where I'll go into the details. Now, before we get into the video, I'm about to tick over 2,000 subscribers on this channel, which is amazing. And I'd really appreciate it if you watch this channel, if you watch any of my videos, like any of them at all, please smash that subscribe button because then I can reach more people and help more people in their journey battling MS. So as you know, if you've watched any of my videos before, you'll know that on this channel I'm documenting my journey because I'm on a mission to take control of my health and overcome my multiple sclerosis diagnosis. And I recently came across Gary Brecka's genetic methylation test. And now this test analyzes your genes for basically looking at how you methylate certain vitamins, which basically means how you can break down and use those vitamins. And it's really interesting, the science behind it all, because it first got my attention. I saw Gary Brecka, I think first on sort of a few TikTok videos, and then I listened to his full podcast on the Joe Rogan Experience. And I just thought it was pretty mind-blowing, the way he talks about it, the way he suggests that, essentially all of us humans have some of these genetic breaks in our DNA, and that's really what we should be supplementing for. So if you think about general supplementation, we tend to just take vitamin C tablets or vitamin D tablets willy-nilly. We kind of just take them because we think we should. Whereas the idea behind this test is it actually looks at your DNA to establish what your body's good at breaking down, what it's not good at breaking down, so that you can then be eating and supplementing for the things that you're deficient in and can't handle very well, rather than just chucking a load of vitamins at your body, which then leads to all of these different illnesses and autoimmune conditions. I found it really intriguing, and so I really wanted to give it a go myself and find out what my genes said about my methylation and what kind of vitamins I should be taking, shouldn't, and all of that. So what is a genetic methylation test? So in simple terms, it's basically looking at how efficiently your body converts key vitamins and minerals into usable forms. So if you have genetic weaknesses in methylation, it can lead to low energy, brain fog, and even immune dysfunction, which obviously leads to autoimmune conditions. And so this is why I was so keen to look into it so that I could understand what's going on in my genetics. So my test results, what did I actually find out? It told me, it was quite a comprehensive test because I actually didn't do it with Gary Brecka. I did it with a company here in the UK called Stride, because they actually do a much more comprehensive test. So they test for a lot of different things. First and foremost, the main thing that Gary Brecka talks about is the MTHFR gene. And this is the gene for breaking down folic acid properly. And he talks about this as being one of the most common ones, and which leads to low energy, fatigue, and it kind of creates this cascade of negative effects throughout the body. And I found out that I do have impaired function on that MTHFR gene. So when I first saw that, I thought, wow, that's really interesting, because I'd heard Gary Brecka talking so much about it, and that being kind of the linchpin of his whole spiel about this methylation testing and about your genetics. And so I thought straight away, I was glad that I actually took this test, because I was like, right, I was right, because when he talked about it, I kind of suspected that that might be the case with me. But along with my autoimmune condition, I've always kind of had niggly little health problems, not major, but I've always felt sort of tired, and I've never felt really well rested and things like that. So I've always suffered a bit with kind of ongoing fatigue. And so I did think that this result might come up. And so when it did, I was both pleasantly surprised and also kind of thinking, right, what do I actually do to supplement for this from here? Because the folate cycle is quite closely linked to how your body deals with inflammation, which is obviously plays a key part in any autoimmune condition, and especially MS. And so this really was a bit of a light bulb moment when I saw that and thought, wow, this is really interesting, and this is something that I've got to overcome. My test as well, it also showed that I've got impaired function. I'm just reading it here now on the methionine cycle. So that's gestational health, amino acid synthesis, that kind of thing. Then my Transsulfuration pathway is actually fine, so I'm in the normal range for that, which was all good. My BH4 cycle showed moderate efficiency, which is interesting because that's linked to a lot of brain health and thyroid health, and which is also a link to kind of inflammation, oxidative stress. So just goes to show that although, you know, part of my methylation process is broken, there's other areas that are actually working fine, and that can be kind of balancing it out so that it's not as bad as it could be, I guess. And then my urea cycle showed moderate efficiency as well, with things like detoxification, muscle function, and cardiovascular function as well. So it's all well and good knowing this stuff, but what am I actually doing about it? Because if I don't do anything about it, it's just finding out things and thinking, oh, okay, that's it. And so the big thing now is kind of what do I do to cover up for those impairments in my methylation cycle? So the main thing that this told me, and it advised, because it gives you actual advice on what you should be doing, the main thing was B vitamins, and basically that I should be supplementing with methylated B vitamins, because that's essentially the B vitamins already methylated. So it looks like my body isn't very good at methylating B vitamins. So that means that the B vitamins that I'm getting from my diet, I'm probably struggling to break down and actually get them into a usable form. And so it makes a lot of sense for me to actually be just taking the methylated form of those vitamins so that can then supply my body with exactly what it needs. And if you're looking to get a DNA methylation test like the one I've talked about in this video, then I'll leave the link in the description to the company that I used. Like I say, they're a UK-based company, but their test is much more cost-effective and more comprehensive than Gary Brecka's test. So I would definitely recommend using them. It was very quick and easy. I did a swab and then sent off for it and got my test results back in about 8 days or something like that. So really efficient. So I'll leave the link in the description, and if you use the discount code TomGarbett, you'll also get 5% off as well. And when you think about it, it makes massive sense to be contributing to my MS, because B vitamins play a massive role in nerve function, in your immune system, in actually building the myelin sheath. Vitamin B12 plays a vital role in that, because I know that if you do have nerve problems, one of the first things the doctors will do is check your B12 level. And so it's really interesting that it turns out that my body isn't very good at actually turning those vitamins into the usable form. So that might be why, for example, when my doctor did check for my B12 levels, maybe my blood was showing that I had plenty of B12 in the system, but my body wasn't actually able to break it down into the usable form, which was why I was having these autoimmune reactions and why my myelin sheath was breaking down, causing obviously the symptoms of MS. So it's really exciting, and it's something that I think that you should definitely look into doing yourself, because from here onwards, I'm definitely going to be having it at the front of my mind. So in terms of my nutrition, I'm going to be focusing on foods that contain those B vitamins as well. And I'm also going to be supplementing with a methylated form of a B vitamin complex. And I'll leave a link in the description to the methylated B vitamins that I'm using in case you want to try it for yourself as well. My test also told me quite a few other things. So it told me things that I already knew about myself. So it told me that I'm a night owl, which was interesting that it can tell that from your genetics. It told me that I do have, I'm likely to have low quality sleep, which is something that I've always thought. I've always thought that I need more sleep than other people. It told me that I've got a high genetic predisposition, to celiac disease, which is really interesting because that's one of the things that I've cut out with my diet, but I did always think that it might be playing a big role because my sister's celiac, and a lot of the science behind leaky gut and autoimmune conditions all comes from gluten. So that's really interesting, and maybe if I hadn't have cut out gluten, I might be celiac by now. It also told me that my skin isn't very good at dealing with oxidative stress, which might be why I've had eczema for quite a lot of my life. So overall, I was just really blown away by this test, by the depth of it, all the details that I got off the back of it. But definitely the most interesting part for me was looking at that folate cycle and the fact that my body really can't deal with B vitamins so well. So from here onwards, like I say, I'm going to be taking methylated B vitamins and eating as much food that are high in B vitamins as well, just so that I'm covering kind of all bases in that aspect. And from there, I'll obviously be monitoring my health, and I'll be able to share those results with you guys as well on the channel. So there we go then. What do you think about it? Do you think you'll give it a go potentially one day? There are plenty of different options out there as well. Gary Brecka's is one of the most expensive, but like I say, mine was much cheaper here in the UK, and it was much more comprehensive as well. So I would definitely advise it. Let me know if you've had a test done before. Let me know your thoughts in the comment below. And before you go, As I mentioned before, I'm just about to tick over 2,000 subscribers, so please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel so that we can hit 2,000, reach more people, and help more people with their journey with MS. I'll see you in the next video.
People like you.